friends. I've had a lot of people tell me that they didn't know how to make deviled eggs, and since we use a lot of eggs at Easter, and if you have chickens, you have loads of fresh eggs, I thought I would share with you one way to make southern deviled eggs. Now these are eggs that came from my friend Clay. His family have their own chickens. One thing about fresh eggs though you have to be very careful about, they are hard to peel. Can you see that? The fresher the egg is, the harder it is to peel, and I kind of forgot that, but I only lost one, so now I'm going to show you what we do. Now, in the South, every self-respecting Southern woman has some type of a deviled egg dish. Mine is not a fancy one, it's a Rubbermaid one, and I use this because we have a lot of church functions or family functions, and of course, one of the things that everybody takes is deviled eggs. So here we go, I'm going to show you how I make deviled eggs. The first thing that you have to do is, of course, boil your eggs, peel them, which is the hard part to me, and then you're going to cut them in half. And that beautiful yolk is going to come out. Uh-oh, I didn't cut it all the way. Get that beautiful yolk out. Save the half. And then put it in your container. So I'm going to work on those right now. You notice I've lost some of the whites. That's perfectly okay. That can be mixed in with the yolks as well. All right, there we go. So we can watch for that. Get this out of the way. Move this over. So almost enough to fill up my whole container here. Now, how do you actually make the deviled eggs? The first thing you have to do is you need to really chop up your egg yolks, and if you have egg whites, they'll go right in too. Usually I do this with a fork, but to go a little bit faster, I decided to use this little cutter. I don't know, some people call it a biscuit maker, some people call it a cutter. I got it from Rada, R-A-D-A. They make those great little kitchen knives. I love Rada because it's an American company, made in America. And I really try to support as many made in America businesses as I can. Okay, so let's clean that off. We don't lose any of that goodness there. Get all of that off. Okay, now I'm just going to go in with the fork and just really make sure I have all that mashed in. Now, there are different kinds of deviled eggs and different ingredients. Some are more savory, some are a little more sweet. I like mine on the sweeter side, so I put sweet pickles in. Some people don't. But the main ingredient is going to be mayonnaise and chicken egg yolks. So you want to get this really, really fine so that when it combines with the mayonnaise, you have a very, very creamy mixture. Okay. Now, when I was growing up, we always added the mayonnaise first. The problem with adding the mayonnaise first is that if you want to add pickles and pickle juice, it can be a little runny. So as I grew up, I decided to add my pickles first. Now, it's easier if you use something like this where it's already cut up. This is a store-bought kind. But, whoops, because we always put up our own pickles here, I have some already done. Now, I didn't do pickles last year because I had enough from the year before. So this jar of relish is from my sweet mother-in-law. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab And I can't give you exact measurements. It's more of a texture thing. I do know that I like a lot of pickle juice, and I like pickles in all of my deviled eggs. So I put a good amount in there, and then we'll just have to try that and see how it works. See if it's evenly distributed to my satisfaction. I like for every bite to have pickles. I think I need a little more. Now, if I didn't have this, what I would do, honestly, is I would just take some of my pickles and chop them up by hand. And if you'll notice, it's already becoming creamy. That's what you want. There we go. I think that's enough pickles for now. And next, the piece de resistance, mayonnaise. And in the South, it's got to be Duke's mayonnaise. There is no other. So I'm going to put a dollop. I'm going to do that much to start with. Again, it's not a recipe to measure because it depends on how many eggs you have, and it depends on how big your eggs are, and it depends on how much pickle juice you put in along with your pickles. The main thing is you want it creamy, but you don't want it runny. But you don't want any, can you see that texture? That's still dry looking versus that's wet looking. That's the texture you're going for, a more wet texture. Well, let's call it creamy. We want creamy here. And I'm going to just touch more. Okay. Because if it's too wet, it won't sit up properly in the eggs. Okay. And of course, you do need to season this as well. Yeah, just a little bit more. Don't waste anything. That, my friends, looks perfect. So we're going to move some things out of the way. The next thing we have to do is to season. It needs a little salt, not a lot, because the mayonnaise is actually quite salty. So just a little bit of salt. I just like that little bit of a bite from the pepper. Now, of course, you always have to taste your food for seasoning. So now will be the time to taste it. And let's see if it has enough. That looks perfect. Good gracious. So let's see. So all you do then is you spoon it in there. See, one of these things that you probably thought was so super hard and difficult, not hard at all. The hardest part, honestly, peeling the eggs. It just takes time. So it's kind of like if you make an egg salad. It's pretty much the same ingredients as an egg salad. It's just an egg salad does have the whites in there. And what I always do is fill them up, then go back and kind of top them off if I don't feel like they're full enough. Whoops. And actually, I like to make sure the whole yolk is almost completely covered with the mixture as well. I guess that's going to be like an April Fool's egg. It's really only half. Okay, so I have a good bit of my mixture left over, so now I'm going to go back and just really top those off, because you want to really get a good bite when you do this. Now, deviled eggs is like potato salad. No two people do them the same way. If you were to look up deviled egg recipes, they're just as varied as potato salad recipes. Everybody has their own little twist. Some people use mayonnaise. Some people use mustard in theirs. I don't, because I don't like the taste of mustard in mine. But if you're using a store-bought egg, the mustard will give it this color, this pretty homegrown color. Now, here's another thing some people do, some people don't. I think it makes it prettier, is to put paprika on there. Now, this one has really big holes, so I don't like to put it on there directly. So I'll just sprinkle some in my hand and just sprinkle some on for color. It doesn't really give much flavor, it just really makes it pretty. My children used to say, "Why do you put the stuff on there, Mommy? It's hot." And I said, "No, babies, it's not hot." But this is one thing that my children will eat and eat and eat. Everybody in my family loves deviled eggs. And however many I cook is how many they will eat. Very seldom do we have any left over. Okay, so guys, rinse this off real quick. And to dry my hands. And there you go. Southern deviled eggs. Bon appetit, and see you guys later.